Hey grade 12s. So in today's video, we're going to check out question 3 over here of the grade 12 physics paper 1 Gauteng 2025 prelim, where we're going to look at freefall or projectile motion. So it says a learner stands on a balcony 5 meters above the street. So we have the 5 meters over here, and throws ball A vertically upwards at a velocity of 5 meters per second to the -1. At the same time, another learner throws ball B vertically upwards from the street at an initial velocity of 8 meters per second to the -1. So we have both of their initial velocities over here. It says ignore all effects of air friction. So they've given us all the information on the diagram as well, which is pretty helpful. And then 3.1 says define projectile motion. So usually we start with either projectile motion, projectile, or free fall as one of the definitions in this section. And projectile motion is the motion of an object under the influence of gravitational force only. And this is slightly different from projectile, which is when an object has an initial velocity, but then only under the influence of gravitational force, versus free fall, when an object is only under the influence of gravitational force only as well. So free fall's definition is quite similar to projectile motion, but all of these are on our marking guidelines or on our definition sheets, so we can just grab them over there. But we have the motion of an object here under the influence of gravitational force only, and that would earn us 2 marks over here. And then 3.2 over here says calculate the maximum height above the ground reached by ball A. So ball A over here has an initial velocity. So if we write down all of the symbols over here, our VI, our VF, our delta T, our delta Y, and then our acceleration over here, we can see what we have, and that'll help us determine which formula to work in. 3 marks as well is also not very involved. It usually has to do with our VF equals VI plus A delta T. Over here, we have an initial velocity of 5 meters per second to the -1. We are going to take up as positive in this scenario. We can either choose up as positive or down as positive, as long as we treat everything moving up as positive and everything moving down as negative. Then we have to keep it consistent, which means our VF will be known. It will be 0 because the maximum height will be when ball A moves all the way up and then stops just before it starts turning down. Okay, which means our VF for the motion just from the bottom to the top over there, our VF will be 0 as it stops before it turns. Our delta T, that'll be unknown, so that's a question mark. They want the maximum height, so this is what we want over here. And then our acceleration is -9,8 because gravity would be pulling the ball down throughout its entire motion. And because we took up as positive, down will therefore be negative, which means that we have all our variables here. We don't actually need delta T, so this formula isn't what we want necessarily. We want something with a delta Y in it, okay? Which means if we look at our formula sheet over here for motion, we have 4 different options, and we aren't working with this formula over here. We can potentially work with this formula over here, but the easiest one to work with will be this formula over here. We generally don't work with this 4th formula because it doesn't account for acceleration and sometimes won't give us the correct answer, which means if we go VF squared equals VI squared plus 2A delta Y, we have all of those variables, and then we can solve for delta Y, which is the maximum height above the ground. So if we rewrite that here, we have VF squared equals VI squared plus 2A delta Y. From there, our VF is 0, so 0 squared is still 0. We have our VI as 5, so we have 5 squared over there. 2 is remaining as part of the formula, and we have -9,8 for the acceleration. Negative because we are taking it down, as we established, and then delta Y over here is what we want. So then we have 25. We can just go ahead and solve for this. 5 squared is 25. 2 times -9,8 is -19,6 over there, and then we have delta Y over here. So we can just go ahead, we can take our 25 over, so we have -25, and this equals -19,6 multiplied by delta Y. We can divide by -19,6 on both sides, and we can have our final answer. And if we plug this in our calculator, we'll get 1,28 meters over there, and that is the value for delta Y. So we just calculated delta Y, but they want the maximum height above the ground specifically, which means ball A was already 5 meters above the ground, and then it went 1,28 meters up until its maximum height, which means all we have to do is say 5 plus 1,28 to get the maximum height above the ground. So we have 6,28 meters over there for the maximum height above the ground. And that would earn us 3 marks over there. Great. And then 3.3 over here was removed from this paper and marks had been redistributed just because it was a simultaneous equation that was a little bit outside of our syllabus, because it said calculate the time at which the two balls will move at the same speed, which is perfectly fine for a lot of other questions. But just because the ball was going up over here first and this ball was going to go here, the time that they would meet would be when this ball ultimately falls down, which means when we do our simultaneous equation and we equate the VIs would end up cancelling, because we might not necessarily know that it would be going down when ball A is going up and they would be at the exact same speed, which means the VFs would cancel out unless we put a negative VF for the path of ball A over here, which means this question was redistributed just because for a simultaneous equation, the VFs would cancel unless we knew that. And that is slightly outside of our syllabus, so we don't have to do it this time around. But we are going to do it quickly just so we can see how it does work and you can see how to set up a simultaneous equation like this anyway, because what we want to do is set up two different equations. So we have equation for ball A over here and we have the equation for ball B over here. So the formulas we're going to work with are VF equals VI plus A delta T for both of them. Okay, so VF will be unknown for both of them because we don't know it, but it is the exact same speed. So we treat it as the same variable. One is just going to be in the negative direction as we established because ball A is moving down when ball B moves up and they are ultimately the same speed. Okay, because ball B will be going slower and slower and slower from 8 down to 5 to 4 to 3, and ball A, for example, is not going to be the same speed as it approaches its maximum from 5 all the way to 4, 3, 2, 1 to 0, which means the only time they would be equal is as this approaches 2 meters per second, for example, and this one starts to decrease going down as negative 2 meters per second, for example, which means we have negative VF over here for ball A. Its initial velocity, as we can see, is 5 meters per second. The acceleration is negative 9,8 meters per second down. And then delta T is what we want because we want the same time. Okay, what we have on this side for ball B is that VF will be positive because we took up as the positive direction. That equals VI of 8 that we can see over there on the diagram. And then we have plus minus 9,8 delta T, which means before we equate the two, we're just going to distribute the negative. So we have negative 5 over here minus 9,8, which ultimately becomes positive 9,8 delta T over there. And now we have this setup where when we equate the VFs, the delta T's won't just cancel, which means if we have VF over here, we have VF over here. So we have minus 5 plus 9,8 delta T. And this will equal this whole side over here. It will equal 8. Plus and a minus gives us negative 9,8 delta T over here, which means we're going to take this over that side, and 9,8 plus 9,8 gives us 19,6 delta T. If we take over the negative 5 to this side, it will add to the 8, so we'll have 8 plus 5 over there, and we end up having 13. So then we can just divide by 19,6. 13 divided by 19,6 in our calculator is 0,66. So 0,66 is the amount of time when they are at the exact same speed. And once again, this was redistributed just because we'd have to know that it is a negative VF for ball A, and we are not expected to know that. But otherwise, this is a very important setup to do a simultaneous equation when we see 5 marks in freefall. We find the like variables, we try and equate them. In this case, it was the VF because they're at the exact same speed. We equate them over there, and then we solve for the time that we want. So that would earn us 5 marks over here. And then 3.4 says ball A reached a maximum height after 0,51 seconds. Calculate the velocity at which ball B was moving when ball A reached its maximum height. So we only have 2 marks over here, and not a very involved question. We just want the final velocity at which ball B over here was moving when ball A reached its maximum height. So all we have to do is plug into our VF equals VI plus A delta T because we've been given time. The VF is what we want over here. The VI, as we have been given on the diagram, for ball B is 8 meters per second. Gravity is minus 9,8 over here. And then delta time is 0,51 because that is the time that ball A was at its maximum height, but we want the speed of ball B when ball A was at its maximum height. So therefore we can just plug this in our calculator and we have 3,0 meters per second to the -1 up. So they didn't just say the magnitude of the velocity, that'll just mean the value over here, the amount. They did say the velocity, so we need a value and a direction. So that would earn us 2 marks over here. And then last question over here, 3.5 says, sketch a velocity time graph for the motion of the two balls until they reach the same speed. Okay, clearly indicate the following values on your graph. So the initial velocities of both balls, which has been given, the time at which ball A reaches its maximum height. So they've given that to us here in 3.4. And then the time at which the balls reach the same speed. That would be required from 3.3, which would be left out of the paper. So we'll just draw it accurately, even though we did calculate 0,66 seconds over there, which means velocity time graph. We have our 2 sets of axes and we have our x-axis in the middle because things change direction. So we have velocity over here and we have time over here in seconds, and velocity is in meters per second. The scale in this section isn't as important, but the directions are, which means the initial velocities of both balls, we would never have to calculate anything we hadn't calculated previously in these questions, which means the initial velocities of the balls, we have 8 meters per second over here for ball B, and we have 5 meters per second over there for ball A. Doesn't have to be to scale, as long as the 5 is lower down than the 8, we are good to go, as we would normally plot a graph like this. Okay, so we have that, and then let's plot the time at which ball A reaches its maximum height, which is 0,51 seconds. So we have 0,51 over here. Cool. So we've plotted that, and then before we do the last point over there, let's plot ball A. Because ball A is over here, it is being thrown up to its maximum, and then it is falling down until they reach the same speed, not until it hits the ground, which means this would be the motion as ball A is decelerating from its initial until it hits its maximum, which means 5 to 0,51 is this range over here as it decelerates until it comes to 0 at its maximum before it starts accelerating in the negative direction. So we have a straight line over here and it will accelerate until they're at the same speed, which is ultimately what we're going to get at just now, which is implying that it has changed direction as we did with our 3.3 simultaneous equation, which means what we have here is our 8, which is decelerating, decelerating, decelerating until they're at the exact same time over here, because 8 had not changed direction. Okay, and that's why 3.3 was scrapped, because it also makes it a bit harder for our velocity time graph. And if we had done the calculation like we had done over here, we'll know that it is at 0,66 seconds over there when the balls reach the exact same speed. So we can either draw the dotted line, considering we didn't need to do the calculation, but we had done it, so we can just plot it over there, and we have all 3 points, the initial velocities, time at which ball A reaches its maximum height, and then time at which the balls reach the same speed. Because they're at the same speed over here, this guy would be +2, for example, and this guy would be -2, for example. And then they're at the exact same time, so we just stop their journeys over there. And that would earn us 4 marks for that question and 16 marks for this whole section. Great job, guys. Let me know if there are any questions in the comments below, and then I will see you in the next video.